Okay, good afternoon. Thanks for coming out. Just a couple items and then move forward about Missouri. But today's an unusual, heavy academic workload today, so most of our players have exams, midterms, papers, so there won't be any players here. It's not by design. So we'll make sure tomorrow that you get what you need from a media standpoint in terms of access to our players. So it's just one of those days where the players who were available had academics, so that's kind of where we're at. Just real quickly on last week and then moving forward to this week, I thought we created some tough situations, some tough circumstances for ourselves very, very early in that football game. Some of them self-inflicted, some of them because of the quality of opponent. And, we spoke about starting fast, and, Alabama's a great, great football team. I think they're a great representative of our conference and being number one in the country and very deserving of that. But, again, it's our players understanding that you just don't show up against a quality team like that in a great venue and just play. And, we're youthful in all areas of our football program. And when I use the term youthful, that's taken in the context of a lot of things. First of all, obviously we're young at some positions, playing 23 freshmen, but I think we're very, very young in terms of the learning curve, young in terms of that learning curve of championship habits, what it takes to really prepare yourself to go play on the road in a tough environment versus a tough opponent. I thought, we had a lot of anxiety, and anxiety can affect you in a negative sense in terms of freezing up, not playing your fastest. It consumes you, and it creates hesitation. And I thought at times we had hesitation, especially in the first half. There was a lot of positive lessons, a lot of negative lessons, but all powerful lessons. And we need to learn from it, and we need to continue to move forward. Next game, Missouri. Another great football team, another great challenge, having to go on the road. Great defense, great defensive line, physical, tough, active, great team speed, playing with a lot of confidence offensively, up-tempo football team. We're going to have to get lined up, get our signals in, play fast, physical up front. And again, great team speed. Matty Mock, know a lot about Matty and his family. Great family. His brother played at Cincinnati. We recruited Matty, and so have a lot of respect for him. He's one of those players that can turn something or nothing into something. He can create a big play every time he touches the football, so we have to have great discipline. And it starts with a great week of preparation starting today. We need to learn from our mistakes, learn from our experience last week, and continue to push forward and move forward. So I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Butch, what have you seen out of your team since you got back to Knoxville Saturday night that makes you think you'll move forward from that?
I saw a team that was extremely disappointed in their performance, which as a coach, that's great to see. And we spent an inordinate amount of time after the game speaking about it and just trying to get it right. Everyone being accountable for their performance, from coaches to players to everyone. And, understanding where did that anxiety come from? Why did we not play our best? And also understanding that, Alabama's the number one team in the country as well. But, we've spoke about it. Everyone was in the building on Sunday watching the film. They've been around. So I expect a business-like approach this week like every week. And I said our players have been outstanding through this whole process so far.
Which is Riley going to be part of the competition going forward, or is his injury status preclude that right now? No,
Riley's part of that. And, we'll know more about Justin's status here probably tomorrow. But right now, in our mind, Justin is day-to-day. He was in watching film this morning. And obviously Joshua, gained some valuable game repetitions against a quality opponent in a hostile environment. And Riley will be part of that mix as well. The positive thing is, I touched on this briefly last week, is Nate Peterman's cast is off. He's back, and now he's rehabbing the strength, and we'll see how he progresses. There is a possibility, by the end of the week, he may be available as well, but you never know with the body and how it heals, but he's back and he's rehabbing, so we'll see how he continues to rehab and how his body takes, how it affects him moving forward.
Butch, everybody sees that Josh led 2 scoring drives, scored 2 points, immediate reaction is he had a great day. When you readied the film out, what did you like, what concerns you about how what Josh got done on the field?
Well, you learn in coaching, it's never as good as it seems and it's never as bad as it seems. But for a young man, a true freshman coming in that environment against that type of opponent, I thought he was poised, he was calm, he was disciplined, he was able to get us in the right plays offensively, and he had a command about himself. He walked around to the position groups, and he was confident. Now we need to continue to have that with a week of preparation, playing against a great opponent. Their defensive front, the best thing I can say is they're disruptive. They're quick off the football. They challenge you with different blitz packages, different fronts, different coverages, man-to-man coverage. Tampa 2, cover 2, you name it, he's going to see it if he's the quarterback. But I thought that he performed well under the circumstances.
Well, tell us, did you guys have to cut down the playbook at all when he went in there?
We didn't. And he brings another element in terms of running, And if he is our quarterback, you may see a little more quarterback runs. He's a 4.0 student. I think he's got a photographic memory. He's extremely bright. He's competitive, so we don't have to scale down the playbook one bit with him. It's more execution, playing to whoever a quarterback is, playing to their strengths. If it's running the quarterback more, if it's more deep balls, if it's more 15-yard throws, if it's more break contain and sprint outs, that's going to be the big thing, is we always talk about playing to the strengths of whoever the quarterback is.
What's the timetable for deciding if the quarterback, they say?
How long it takes? It could go all week. I never put a time frame on anything. It's how they develop, and we're going to play the individual who gives us the best opportunity to win on Saturday.
Did you know going into the Alabama game that Justin's thumb may be something, an issue you had to watch real closely, or did he bang it up at some point? Or?
Well, he had a great week of preparation, and he banged it up again. And so I believe it was when he made the tackle. And so, we knew obviously that there was some issues there, but, he performed well in practice, and that's football. And, could he have gone back in at the time? Yes, but we wanted to make sure that, we tried to see what it was and not do anything to further injure himself. And, so there was a lot of things, a lot of thought process that went behind that. But like I said, right now he's day-to-day, and we'll know more about where he's at later on down the road.
Why did you practice wearing gloves all week and then not during the game?
Just a comfort level. The ball was slipping out of his hand at times. He wanted to try it, and, each day was a different experiment. 1 glove, 2 gloves. But starting on Thursday, he didn't practice with any gloves. Maybe a little bit of the grip, being able to squeeze the football, but it was more just the ball's been slipping out of his hands. And, some individuals perspire more than others, with being able to grip the football.
Did that happen again against Alabama while Warren was in there?
I'm sorry?
Did the ball slip against
No.
Alabama at all?
I take that back. There was one time where the ball did slip out of his hands, yes.
Coach, you have the injuries in the back end of the secondary. You talk about those. How do you adjust this week going forward?
Well, right now, we fully anticipate having Byron Moore back and Brian Randolph back. We anticipate that. But, as a coach, you're always prepared. So it's going to be another individual's opportunity. We'll get Jalen Reeves-Maben. We'll go back to getting some repetitions at the safety position, which, that's what he's always played. And He's a very cerebral young man. He's very intelligent, so that won't be an issue. But, you're seeing a constant theme pop up now as we get in the grind of the SEC schedule. It's our overall depth. And the only way that you improve that is through the recruitment process. So we have to develop our players, and we have to get them ready to play on Saturday. We have to make sure they're game ready. But as of our meeting this morning, we fully anticipate both those individuals back.
Going back to Riley Ferguson, does he have a fracture in his leg, and is he in a boot at all?
He's in a boot, just precautionary, but half our team are in boots right now. So, that's kind of the norm with our football team.
Let's get back to that. You were talking about the anxiety, as you termed it, in Alabama. Compare that to, say, Oregon and Florida, your other two road games. Was it any different? Did you sense anything different?
Each game takes on a storyline of itself, but, maybe a little bit different. I've spoken to our football team about it, and there's times you become institutionalized. What are your reference points? Are they negative reference points? Are they positive reference points? And what are you going back to in your mind? And it's getting over that hump. It's a process. That's when we talk about learning what it takes to play winning football. There's a lot that goes into it in the mentality, the mental approach, the mental makeup. A lot of that goes into that. And winning a game like South Carolina was big because it was win number 4, but it also helps bring some positive reference points. The South Alabama game, I said it after, in here the next week, is that game helped us because we won a game in the final seconds. So again, that's another positive reference point in terms of moving this program forward.
Now you're going to a place where you, I guess, don't really have any reference points, so maybe that's a good thing.
Well, their body of work, though, speaks for themselves. Coach Pinkel's done a great job there, followed his work since his days at Toledo. He's really built that program, and you talk about a model of consistency. Missouri's been a model of consistency, and they're playing for a lot, and they have great players and great team speed, so it's going to be, another challenge. But if you look at our schedule, that's the way it's been week in and week out for us. No different.
Can you talk about Missouri's size at wide receiver and the problems that can create?
It causes you matchup problems. They can play the ball exceptionally well in the air. I know Maddie's going to do a great job of getting them the ball, and we have to, go up and we have to play the ball at its highest point, and it's going to test our fundamentals, our eye discipline, and our athleticism. And we have to really do a lot of film study, and we have to trust our eyes. We have to trust what we see. We have to trust, in our technique, and we have to do a much better job of playing with great instincts. Trust the offhand coming off the football. Trust your break and drive. All those things that go into playing, winning football out on the perimeter of your defense.
South Carolina probably didn't be in favor Saturday night. Do we make too much of the fact that they're coming off a loss and you got to go in there now and face a team like that, or is there? Do you see it the same way?
I do. I think we put too much into it. Each week is a new season in and of itself, and I think, I don't spend much time on it. I think it helps as a reference point because, we played South Carolina, but every game is different. Every game is like a new chapter in a book. It has different storylines, the way the game goes, the flavor of the game. So I really don't put much validity in it. What you did last week has no bearing on the outcome of this week.
And what you said that you knew Matty Mock and his family well, and his brother played at Cincinnati. How closely did he come to playing at Cincinnati, and what stood out to you about him when you were recruiting?
Right. Well, we were engaged in a great recruiting battle. Matty Mock's a winner. His father's, he's the son of a football coach, so he's a gym rat. He grew up with a football in his hand, since the day he was born. I said he's a winner, and he's a playmaker, and so he's a very, very talented quarterback.
Which A.J. McCarron was offended by the use of the red paint.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised at that, and is that something you might rethink as far as going forward?
No, to be honest with you, I don't know, and it's really out of respect. But I think, you know, Alabama's built such a great reputation, and very deservingly so, that I think when you go play Alabama, the name Alabama gives them 14 points right away, you know, because of the respect that people have. And so I said it last week, and I'll continue to say it. I respect their football program and what they've done as much or more than anyone in the country. So I have to prepare our football team, and it's part of them understanding that it's a great rivalry. And I said it, to make the rivalry relevant, we got to win some of those. But that's past, and, you know, I have a tremendous respect for them, and now we're moving forward to Missouri.
There have been some incidents across the country, not here per se, but elsewhere, where fans have kind of gone on players' Twitter accounts to criticize them after particular games or something. I'm just wondering, how do you counsel your players on what to watch for on Twitter, just to make sure something like that doesn't happen, and what's your reaction when you see stuff like that?
Well, it is the world that we live in, you know, and that's social media. And the best thing to combat it is don't have a Twitter account. You know, and we always talk about managing the clutter and managing the distractions, but I think Rick Pitino said it the best at their media day. You know, he said our kids can't go 5 minutes without picking their phone up, or they can't read a chapter of a book before picking their book up or their phone up. And I think that's society, that's the world that we live in. But again, it's educating our players, you know, of again, managing the clutter and the distractions, and that's all distractions. Just focus on the task at hand, and that's an ongoing process that we deal with each and every day.
Why haven't you taken that step then to kind of ban players? I mean, there's some coaches have taken that.
Yeah, you know, I think for the most part our players have shown great maturity in that realm. You know, we do so much in our character education and in our development of our players with social media. So I haven't really seen anything to ban them from that. You know, it can be a negative, but it can also be a positive, you know. So, you know, we spend, like I said, an inordinate amount of time. We see every tweet our players make, you know, so we counsel them on that. I think Jimmy and his staff does a tremendous job of educating our players as well. That's part of our Vol for Life program. So I think our players have shown some maturity when it comes to that.
We've seen some pretty good defensive lines this year, some pretty good athletes on the defensive line. How does Mizzou stack up to some of those?
Stack up exceptionally well. Michael Sam, you know, leads in sacks and TFLs, very, very explosive. And I think what you're seeing is a common theme in this conference is the teams that are being extremely successful have great depth, you know, and it's a line of scrimmage league. And you look at the depth of the teams that are extremely successful, they go 8-9 deep at the defensive line position. And Missouri's one of those football teams. You know, their players know they have 4 reps, and they better play their best 4 reps, and then the next set of guys are coming in. You know, and that's what we're working towards getting here at Tennessee. And but they have tremendous depth. You know, their defensive linemen understand angles. You know, they understand how to use their hands. They're explosive in their stance and starts and their get-offs, and they're relentless. And it's going to be a great challenge for us offensively.
Which I feel like your offensive line graded out how they played on Saturday.
You know, I thought they did some good things, but, you know, we take great pride in our first down efficiency. You know, and that's if we run the football, we need 4 yards or more. Or if we throw the football, it's 4 yards or more. You know, and it's staying on schedule. And our first down efficiency was only 40%, which is not good in our goals. You know, we have to be about 65%. You know, and the great offenses, most of a team's first downs are generated on first and second down. So we didn't win the first down battle, and we didn't win the third down battle. And so, again, I just think it's a level of consistency. I think we had 2 explosive runs, one of 43 yards and one of 11 yards, and that was it. And we have to be able to run the football more effectively and more consistently.
Whether it's tomorrow or Thursday or whenever, what do you need to see out of whichever quarterback it is to name that guy the starter this week?
Well, the same thing that we need each and every week. It's manage the offense. You know, consistency and performance each and every day. You know, the command presence that's needed, the leadership, and managing the game, avoiding the catastrophic plays. Again, understanding situational football. It's 3rd and 15. Get the ball and check down, play field position, and punt is a productive play. So I think the full gamut of the quarterback intangibles, understanding the game plan, and comes down to execution. And it starts with execution and practice.
But do you think you can rule Justin out sooner than later because of the injury situation?
Like I said, I'll know more probably late tonight into tomorrow. What I've been told is it's day to day. So right now he's undergoing further examination. Like I said, we're taking the approach that he's going to be available, that he's playing. He's, like I said, in the building this morning, but, we just got to take it one day at a time.
What did you see out of Josh's reaction? Everybody, after they kind of play their first game, some guys react differently, kind of spark some makes them going more. What have you seen? I know you were around him yesterday. What have you seen out of Josh since he got his first college football experience?
Status quo. You'd never know that he played on Saturday. The same Josh Dobbs that we see each and every day. The great thing about Josh is what you're getting each and every day with Josh. We talk about the straight line guy. He's never too high or too low. He just comes to work every single day. And, I take great comfort in being around players like that. I always ask our players, what are you selling today? And you're either a fountain or a drain, and every day he's a fountain. He comes in, he has a business-like approach. He's got a smile on his face. He has some charisma to him, as does Riley. Riley's the same way. Both these young individuals have charisma to them, and they're hungry. They push each other. And I think, Nate Peterman has been outstanding in our position meetings. Here's an individual who's been out for a number of weeks, and you'd never know it in his preparation. He's in there filling his notebook in the meetings, and that's extremely healthy for a football program and for that position.
Would there be a possibility you might use 2 quarterbacks Saturday and kind of rotate different styles, or would you rather have just the one guy?
Whatever it takes to win a football game, but I don't like changing quarterbacks if we have to. I don't like that individual thinking that he's looking over his shoulder if he makes one negative play. Am I coming out? I think it helps the overall rhythm, with the offense, from cadence to everything. But whatever it takes to win football games, we're going to do.
Butch forced another turnover this weekend. It's 18 on the year. They only had 17 all last year. I know this team won 17 and all that. But why do you think you guys have been so successful when it's a lot of the same guys playing on defense?
Well, we take great pride in what we call turnover conscience, is we live it. We talk about it every day. We practice it every day. It's part of playing defense at Tennessee. We talk about ball disruptions. Every play that we evaluate on film, we talk about the ball disruption part of it. And we practice it, and our players have done a great job with it. There was a number of times on Saturday where, starting the lawnmower, we didn't get it, but they were trying. To do it. And those are all the fundamentals and the small details that lead to the big details of creating turnovers.
What was the explanation after the fumble by Alabama on the forward progress? Was there a whistle that blew? Or what?
Yeah, they told me on the field that the whistle had blown and they had felt that the forward progress of the ball carrier had been stopped. And that's not reviewable.
And also, is Riyad Jones any closer to being ready to play?
I met with Riyad this morning. We'll see. He has to take great steps in moving forward this week, in preparation in terms of his practice habits, his intensity. He wants to do it. So, again, we'll see how he, practices this week and how he develops.
How will your Cincinnati teams on the road, and what are some factors that determine whether a team wins or loses on the road?
Well, everywhere we've been, we've taken great pride in the ability to win on the road. And, obviously it starts with winning your home games, but championship football teams have the ability to block out all the external factors and go on the road and win games. And, each team is different. Each team has different personalities. I think in order to be a good road team, you have to get the first one, And, everyone talks about routine and routine-oriented, and, we try to keep the same routine, whether it's at home or on the road. I think it's just a maturity level. I think it's a business-like approach. I think it starts in your week of preparation, of understanding, what you're up against. And I also think, our road games have been against some very high caliber, high quality opponents as well. And that's, in moving this football program forward and this football team, it's been a grind. It's been a mental grind. It's been a physical grind. You look at, 7 top teams? 7 top teams on the schedule. And it's having to play your best game week in and week out. And, I think this experience is going to prove to be extremely beneficial as we continue to grow and develop our football program. And like I said, there's a lot of powerful learning experiences, some negative. And, I expect to win every football game. And I expect our football team too, and we prepare to win every football game. And that's the mentality that we're going to have, and that's the way we approach each and every week.
Which I think Missouri's third in the nation in forcing interceptions. I guess when you talk about the quarterback competition this week, I guess how keen are you going to be in just taking care of the ball?
Well, we always talk about taking care of the football, but obviously the quarterback, that ball holds all of our dreams, goals, and aspirations. But there's more than just the quarterback. It's the offensive line providing the stability of protection. It's the running backs taking care of the football. It's them in pass protection. It's the receivers running the appropriate depths or routes. It's their technique. It's being able to win in transition versus man-to-man coverage. It's reading the windows in the zone coverage. So there's so much. It's the tight ends running the appropriate routes. So there's so much that goes into taking care of the football. And at the end of the day, it's on the quarterback, but it's all the other pieces around him as well.
What does their back end do well to be able to force those interceptions? Obviously, it's good offensive line.
Very, very athletic and very, very physical. And, they play with great instincts. They're break and drive on the football. And, again, they're athletic. And Missouri has tremendous team speed.
Coach, remembering the quarterback, just how much better are your receivers prepared to kind of help them along? And Marquez, in particular, seems like in the last month,
Right.
he's on a real upward trend.
Well, we need our receiving core to take the next step and continue in that growth and development that they're going through. And Marquez obviously has gained a lot of confidence. And again, he continues to progress and get better and better. Having Josh back will be big for us this week. And we have to be able to make the routine plays first. Let's just throw and catch. We had 4 drops on Saturday, and we can't do that and play with a high level of consistency. And I said it, is a drop in our offense is the equivalent of a turnover. It stifles momentum. It stifles being able to play with any type of tempo. It disrupts the procedure offensively. And so the first step is getting open, playing with great technique, and catching the football. Then we move on and we graduate to the next element and to the next element. And it's a step-by-step process, but I do think, Jason Crew made some big catches for us. I thought, a great learning experience when it was 4th and 3 on, I believe, on the 5-yard line, last week. And so we were in those game situations, and I thought Josh did a great job of going through his progression and putting the ball where it needed to be, and Jason Crew making the catch and, playing big. Jason's a big-bodied receiver, and we've challenged him to play big. Play like a 6'3", 6'4" guy. Don't play like a 5'10" guy. And so it's all those things, and they're all young. I think I looked out on the football field, against the number 1 ranked team in the country last week, and we had a true freshman tight end, 3 freshmen at receiver, and a true freshman quarterback. And those are the growth, stages that we're going through. But I think in moving forward down the road, it's going to prove to be extremely beneficial. I'm as encouraged as I've ever been. Am I disappointed? Absolutely, because I expect to win every football game. And as I told you, I'm extremely impatient, but we're not going to take any shortcuts. We're going to do it right, and it'll be done right.
But you seem like going back to even back to the Oregon game, there's been a lot of big third down, fourth down spots this year where Croom's been either the primary target or he's just been the guy who made the plays. Is there something about him in those situations that seems to make the quarterbacks feel comfortable?
You know, I just think he's run the appropriate routes, you know, and when his number's been called, he's executed. And I think when that happens, you develop trust, you know, in individuals, and our quarterbacks trust him right now.
Was there anything that Alabama did necessarily to make Pig's numbers kind of go down his touches? It didn't look like he was a big factor.
You know, I thought that was one of the things where, you know, we weren't able to get him the football as much as we'd like. But, you know, they did a great job, and they're a great football team and a great defense. And, again, all you have to do is look at the results of their football team, and there's a reason why they're number one in the country.
What does Matty Mock do best as a quarterback?
Great question. The thing that concerns me the most about him is he's able to improvise. You know, he's able to take a bad play and turn it into a big play. You know, he's able to scramble. He's trying to move around. He throws exceptionally well, you know, out of the pocket. And he's got a little bit of swagger to him. You know, and that's Matty Mock, you know. And, you know, we signed his receiver at Cincinnati, who was the leading receiver in the history of Ohio high school football. You know, and Matty was his quarterback, you know. And he's a winner, and he makes plays.
Butch, you said you're as encouraged as you've ever been. How do you make sure your team knows that and recognizes that going into a critical final?
Tell them that all the time. You know, I'm brutally honest. You know, I tell them the things we need to improve. I tell them what I think, and I warrant their input as well. But they understand the standard, the expectations, and they've been great. And I think we have that type of relationship. And, you know, I tell them where we're at and where we need to go and how we're going to get there, and this is what we need to do. And they listen. And, you know, when you're developing a team and a program, there's good days and there's bad days, unfortunately. But they're all a learning opportunity. And like I said, we're going through a grind. We're going through the toughest schedule in the country. And the only way you do it is you put your head down and you keep working to get better each and every day. And I see progress every day, some days more than others, but I continue to see progress. And I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged where we're at recruiting. You know, we're attracting the right student athletes, in our opinion, here. I think our players are continuing to develop. The individuals that we're redshirting, they're working exceptionally hard. They're going over and above what we ask of them. And so I think there's a lot of positive things going around that sometimes you don't see that on Saturdays, but I feel it in the Anderson Training Center. But our standard and our expectation are exceptionally, exceptionally high. And that will never change.
Anything new on Mo Couch?
No, still waiting on word with Mo Couch. You know, as soon as, you know, I know anything, I'll make sure you guys are informed of the circumstances and what's going on, but have not heard anything yet on that situation.
You don't know when you're expecting it to just come to the time?
Exactly right. I have no anticipated date of when we're going to get a decision. It's just when it comes, it comes.
Would it even be realistic to think he could come back after missing this much time and be any sort of factor?
You know, I would like to think that, you know, he's staying in shape. You know, he's doing everything that he needs to do if that opportunity is presented. But there will be a learning curve. You know, there will be a part of, you know, where he is. But, you know, that's all hypothetical right now. You know, I'm just worried about getting our football team and the players we have right now ready for Missouri.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.